what a lot of people don't know is that there is a decent amount of African immigration to Ireland.
Hmm.
And so you do, I mean, it's funny when I first got here, I like was on the streets of Cork and I was like, I have seen more Black people walking down Patrick Street than I did 4 years living in San Francisco. Like, I was like, this is amazing. Like, but it's they're not Black Americans. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like it's mostly from Nigeria. And I'm still trying to figure out why that is. It's like fascinating. But so for me, when I start talking and I open my mouth, people probably would assume that I'm coming from, Africa or something. And when I
Hmm.
start talking, people are like, whoa, wait a minute, where are you from? Because there is that sort of fascination with Americans. And,
Hmm.
when you travel, people, in Europe especially, are more sort of like into politics and news than we are as Americans.
Hmm.
And so they're very well abreast of what's going on in, America. And they, for
Hmm.
sure, as soon as they know you're American, want to start talking to you about Trump.
Really?
Like,
Like just like random people willing to engage and talk about it and
oh, this is Ireland. This is the land of small talk. Like, there's no barriers here. Like, people like I can be sitting at like a chipper, a fish and chips shop, and
uh-huh.
like someone will just like they'll listen to me, hear my accent, and go, "Whoa, what do you think about Trump?" Blah blah blah. Like, it's like an hour conversation with a stranger. And I have had the misfortune of having one or two people actually admit to me that they were Trump supporters, and then and then I was
Awkward.
like, yeah, super awkward. I was like, and like to be like, what do you think of him? Do you support him? I'm like, wait a minute. Like, how much do
Surprise.
you follow the news? um, but
Oh
yeah,
my
they're
gosh.
super into talking about politics, which is fine. I mean, it's fine with me because I mean, it's obviously on my mind. You wake up every morning and you're like horrified to look at your phone. So
Hmm. What would
yeah,
you say
it's
is the
okay for me.
what would you say is the one thing? Is there one particular issue that uh, Irish people are not necessarily obsessed about, but they seem really concerned about when it comes to American politics?
Um,
Like, is there a topic that you like to always go back to?
Well, see, the thing is, they've got this whole Brexit thing going on here. So they're like, that's top of mind. They're a major concern because it definitely affects Ireland
Hmm.
big time. And so I think they're just sort of concerned about the positioning of America with how that transition is going to go. Um,
Mm.
and I mean, they're just generally speaking horrified of, of Trump and, kind of in disbelief, like constant disbelief. And like, people will like talk to me about it and just like want answers, want help. I'm like, I can't. Like, there's nothing I can do. I vote, right? I'm a Black woman. Like, we take care of our business. Like, I can't change what goes on with everybody else.
Yeah, it's like we don't even know what to do over here. It's like, yeah, it's I'm I can confidently say for everybody here, there's just an air of we really don't know.
Yeah.
We like since last time, it's like any amount of hope. It's just like, well, I mean,
It's really
yeah,
scary.
yeah,
Like
it really is. Now,
it's just, yeah.
now as a writer who's um written about who's been really critical of race and identity, how would you describe the racial and political climate of Ireland?
So politically, I mean, they're very progressive and have stayed sort of like somewhat middle rational, and whereas we're watching so much of Europe go far right.
Hmm.
And so that was another reason why I wanted to come.
Hmm.
Um, and there are people who are engaged in politics. I mean, obviously there was a lot going on here for a long time, and the troubles, are very much still present on people's minds. And so, I think they don't take. I think as Americans, we've had the luxury of sort of taking, violence and war as something that happens elsewhere.
Hmm.
Or will inflict war in another country, and it's obviously happening there, not in America. But here they've lived, with like, I mean, the memory is alive and people who were alive. So, I think it's people who take it seriously.
Wow. And in terms of the racial climate, like, are people a lot more open and understanding and nuanced in terms of race? Like, how would you say the dynamics are? How is it in terms of attitudes towards immigration and things like that?
Well, it's Europe, so people don't really talk about race in the way that we do in the States.
Hmm.
There's sort of this pretend that it's more about the nation and nationalism as opposed to race.
Mm.
If if you're a British person, you're British. You know what I mean? Like there's not really a discussion of
uh,
how you got there, or people will say, "Oh, you're American," and it's like it's sort of with that like asterisk. You know what I mean? That we don't discuss. Um,
uh.
but yeah, so it's not as overt, I would say, to talk about race. Like if I say, oh, I was treated badly, when I was applying to get a student registration card at the Garda,
Mhm.
they'll say, oh, maybe it was because of the color of your socks. You know what I mean?
What?
It'll be
Oh, okay.
sort
Like
of
so.
this. It's like we don't really talk about it. Let's not assume
Mhm.
that was it, like sort of thing.
Like sort of the
Which
think it's one of the like it's like it's supposed to be a last resort card that you pull out.
it makes people very uncomfortable because people don't want to think of their country as that way. You know what I mean? People sort of are very prideful of being, this is
Mm-hmm.
my place, this is my land, these are my people, and I would really hope that they didn't treat you that way, so I'm going to assume it's not that.
Uh,
And so it can feel like a gaslighting for sure, but
yeah.
I'm old enough to know what's going on and have had enough experience to just understand it for what it is.